Curious, ये कैसा होता है, क्या होता है, कौन कर रहा है? Look at me, I'm Superman. Look at me, I'm Hanuman. मैं ये करूँगा, वो करूँगा, मैं पर्वत उठा रहा हूँ. Like, oh my God, what is this? What is this world? People around you here and they're like, अरे बेटा तू तो हीरो बनेगा, बन जा. अरे उसमें क्या होता है? My first movie gets a premiere in London.
Yeah.
It took 10 years. So I'm very quietly, sweetly trying to tell him,
Give
can
him
I?
tips. Give Shah Rukh Khan
I know,
tips.
and I'm just like, acting तो आता ही होगा खून में. I don't think so. I
Comes
love
on
it.
the
I love it.
show.
I am floored. I am absolutely floored. How does that person survive in one of the most hostile kind of environments? I was ridiculed because I had Hindi songs on my Walkman. The world is harsh at times and unforgiving at times. So I'm jumping in, thinking that Hansal sir is going to create a meditation on character of a young boy, and what is this going to be like? And I mean, in my head, I'm imagining all sorts of things. Little do I know that he turns it into a story of one night. So what meditation on character?
Yeah,
It's a
but
situational drama.
Yeah.
In the movie, there's a line which is "वक्त लगता है, लेकिन हो जाता है."
Yeah.
Saying, and nobody else knows this. This is really first. This is fresh.
Kushi 7 presents the Namrata Zakaria Show in partnership with Zilo, fashion delivery in 60 minutes, powered by View Televisions.
My guest today is so easily one of India's finest actors. He may have had only 2 releases so far, but rest assured, I'm not saying this loosely. There's something incredibly magical about Zahan Kapoor. Ever since his Netflix series, Black Warrant, dropped in early 2025, it has shot him to instant stardom and immense acclaim. Zahan is here to tell us how the series has changed his life and what he's been up to ever since. Hi, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very, very generous praise, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Would you like to start by apologizing to me?
Yes.
Because the way you have ghumaud me and bhagaud me to get
Oh,
this
yes,
date
yes.
from you.
Oh, yes, yes.
I've actually had to write to his mother and say, listen, I'm going to use your name. And sweet, dear Sheila Sippy has said, please go ahead if he's bullying you.
This is very sweet. No, you are absolutely right. I think, and I am sorry because I'm just hoping that there's more to talk about now because I think I got a little bit exhausted. There was so much, as there is when you have a release in general, and then especially off the bat of the fact that there was a lot of critical appreciation. So the first 4 months of the year, I think well into April, I was on a spree of just doing a lot of press and publicity and meeting some incredibly interesting people, and I was being you get noticed, right? So then you suddenly get included, and it's lovely to be on the receiving end of that kind of attention, and you get to participate. So, but it got to a point where I just got really tired. I think I found myself being repetitive, and I was just hesitant. I said, listen, I want something new to happen, something to shift, because it's the same conversation again and again. That was the hesitation, and I was hoping that I could come back with something better to say, but you're so persistent.
Yes, that's right.
And you're so kind of tenacious about the fact that you want this to happen and you want it to happen now.
Yeah.
How dare I to
Yeah.
refuse?
You can't say no to a blonde. That joke. But listen, I have madly loved Black Warrant, as
Thank
has
you.
rest of this country. And I think, its release in Jan, and it sort of just raised the bar for everything else that followed through the year. And I mean, the show is obviously about how much fun Tihar jail is not. But I think it was such great writing.
Yes.
It's a great story. Your character, Sunil Gupta, I mean, we're really waiting for him to return. And
Yeah.
so are you.
Oh, yes. I mean, so like you said, I think incredible amount of credit goes to Satyanshu sir, who is the key writer and the co-creator with Vikram sir.
Yeah.
And then Arkesh sir also, so Satyanshu sir and Arkesh sir were co-writers on season 1. And the way Satyanshu sir has imagined it, like he's broken up a book that was not very big. It's actually quite a breezy.
Slim
I
book,
mean, it's a
yeah.
slim book. It's a breezy read. It's very anecdotal, but it's very precise in the
Yeah.
sense it's written without any of the emotional, personal subjectivity that is typical and required for drama. So that's come from Satyanshu sir also doing a tremendous amount of research post reading the book and talking to Sunil ji, talking to Sunetra, talking to other people. So he has infused the story and reimagined and reinterpreted the character on the page. I think his question was, what does a young man who has a certain innocence and integrity and let's say nobility or whatever you want to call it, but has that all those kind of, but is essentially someone who's a little softer and is not the typical macho male image. How does that person survive in one of the most hostile kind of environments where people are notoriously corrupt, where people are notoriously use, devious means to get their ends, extortion, threat of violence, blackmail, you name it. So I think that curiosity is what has created a character. I think it's the same curiosity that I had also, which is like, oh my god, what is this? What is this world? It's fully alien to me in the sense of how and in what era I've grown up in, and what era and how
It
what
was,
Sunil
yeah.
ji faced.
Yeah.
But
It
that
was
was
set
what
in the 80s?
in the 80s. So the story starts in the 80s, and his whole story goes on till the mid 2010s. Basically, is when he retired. So it's a 35-year story, and we've only told the first 4 years. So there's scope for many seasons. I mean, at least a couple of more seasons, depending on how the writing kind of comes up. And I really hope we can. I mean, we can kind of tell these chapters soon,
Oh, of course you will. You most
because
definitely
it's
will.
yeah,
It's really hit it out of the park. And I think the show also I mean, Bihar in the show became like a microcosm for India.
it
You
is,
know,
yes,
like, I mean, with the power struggles,
yes,
the caste hierarchies, the elite Mr. Shobraj, just all the good bits, the bad bits,
uh-huh.
everything about India was sort of thrown in.
It does. It's an
Yeah.
interesting way to reflect and use it like a parable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Vikramaditya Motwani is really so gifted.
I mean, I could go on and on. He is, to watch his dedication, to watch his meticulousness. There were there was a time when it was early, I think, prep phase of Black Warrant season 1, and he was still finishing post of Control, and he would do that. He would be taking meetings on Black Warrant, and then he'd be sitting there in the office, and he'd go, and he's still working on the edit, and himself he's working on it. So he's so hands on, he's so involved, and it's nothing short of a blessing to have the opportunity to play a part as massive as this part, in the sense is the volume of screen time, and then to jump into a story world that is being envisioned and championed by Vikramaditya Motwane, who's arguably one of the finest filmmakers that we've ever seen.
The finest, for
In terms of
Yeah.
what he's done and
Yeah.
and qualitatively how he's just kept up to it.
Yeah.
And he's a champion of cinema. He supports, empowers young people, makers. He's
I get
lovely.
it. So Black Warrant obviously catapulted you, but your debut, and not many know this, including me, was in 2022 with Hansal Mehta's Faraaz. I watched it last week.
Oh.
Yeah, for the first time, now that we fixed an appointment, and I wanted to tell you it was really a very difficult watch. I'm a mum too,
Yeah.
and, just going through what your character's mum went through, and also the writing was so provocative and intense. And what was that shooting experience like? It must have been during COVID, right?
So yes, Faraz is an interesting story. So Faraz came about in 2019, at a time when I was, feeling really restless and really frustrated because I was just not managing to get that break in a way that felt, let's say, authentic. It wasn't like there was a lot, like there weren't big commercial tickets that I had available to me. It wasn't like that. It was just that whatever, one or two, and I'd given auditions and I'd not gotten them also, and I'd gone kind of through it, and I was very frustrated. And it kind of just randomly happened where Hansal sir had just seen me At the time, we were neighbors, and he just had a thought, a light bulb go off, and was like, there was this story that had come to him, and he was thinking about it, and maybe this boy, maybe this is the boy, maybe the word, maybe he might be able to make sense of it, and it might be the kind of good combination of the innocence and worldview, but things, all of those conversations. So he just took a punt, and he picked up the phone and he called Mukesh Chhabra sir, because Mukesh and Hansal sir have been working together for years, and he had no idea who I was. So he was just asking Mukesh if I was even interested in acting at the time, and I was, I was very interested. Mukesh sir tells Hansal and vouches for me, because he had seen an audition that I had given through his company for a part that I did not get, but he liked the audition, and it's testimony to those stories. There's so many of them, but you never know. You never know. Maybe it doesn't click there, but somebody remembers you and it clicks somewhere else. You just really don't know.
So no effort is wasted.
No effort is wasted. You can be harshly judged, and it can be hard to come back from that. So there is a protectiveness that you maybe would be wise for you to carry with you, because the world is harsh at times and unforgiving at times. So you do need to look out for yourself and your best interest and protect yourself. But if it aligns, you may not get it. But if it feels right and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot, then it's definitely not a wasted effort, because it means you did give your shot and somebody saw you give your shot, and that's important. And it's case in point.
Somebody said, like a really famous, really successful Indian actor said that acting is waiting.
So much of it.
Yeah.
So much of it is waiting. Right now, I'm waiting most of the time.
Yeah.
Acting really is waiting. I mean, the profession of it.
Yeah.
I jumped in the deep end. There was no script at the time. Hansal sir said he's got the story. It was brought to him by Mahesh Bhatt sir.
Oh.
And because he had met Simin, who's Faraaz's mother, when she was conferred posthumously. I mean, she accepted the posthumous award for Faraaz, the Mother Teresa award. So it was at that event, I think, and that's the story. So anyway, he found it and he said, "This is a film." He called up Hansal and he said, "Hansal, you need to make this story." And Hansal, I think, was cooking in the back of his mind until then he saw me, and then he was like, "Okay, let's have a meeting." And then I went and met them, and I said, "Look, I don't have the script yet, but if you come on board with me, we'll go find it, we'll sculpt it, and we'll make it work." So it was a process oriented opportunity, and that excited me.
But it's unusual because it's based on a real life story, right?
Yeah, so it was. I had no idea. I really didn't. So it was an act. It was genuinely a leap of faith. I said, you know what, Hansal sir is someone. I mean, I'd seen Shahid and loved it, and I'd seen City Lights, and I was very moved by City Lights also, and I knew that
mindful, very provocative.
And
filmmaker.
I mean, aside from the provocativeness, what fascinated me was his ability to. He typically, most of his films are meditations on character. Actually, the way I would describe them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So he spends time with a person. He watches them behave, watches them live, and he just kind of allows that slow burn of time with a human being, with a character, create an impression on you.
Yeah.
And he catches moments that are very special and very unique, and he does that with a remarkable consistency almost. Unfortunately, Faraaz, so I'm jumping in thinking that Hansal sir is going to create a meditation on character of a young boy, and what is this going to be like? And I mean, in my head, I'm imagining all sorts of things. Little do I know that he turns it into a story of one night. So what meditation on character?
Yeah,
it's a situational drama.
No, it still is, because it sort of makes you think about like what is a good Muslim versus a bad Muslim.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, so it is, of course, a young boy, Faraaz, played by you, who's caught in a terror attack in Bangladesh, and they're just gun wielding terror. One of them is your classmate.
I mean, the suggestion was that there might have been an overlap because of inter-school or inter-college at the time. There would have been an overlap of them at some point. But I think it's more a poetic license though to show that. I think both people. I don't think there was any real connection. but I think it was a poetic license thing to suggest that. So it was not a meditation on character over time, like typically like Scam, Shahid, Aligarh,
Yeah.
Omerta, even
Yeah.
even Simran for that matter. You know, I mean, it's a character who you stay with across time. This was literally. I don't think Hansal has made a story which has been contained in a single night,
Yeah.
apart from Faraaz. An unimaginable circumstance that the character
Something
is not prepared
extraordinary.
for.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a soldier who is being sent in. It's not the story of a siege from the point of view of a soldier who's trained, who's committed to be in a life and death scenario. This is someone who has no business being there.
He's an
And
ordinary guy.
he used the night. He said he used the unfolding of the night like a procedural to show you that in a night full of chaos and terror like this, a little spark can turn into a little ember, and that ember can become a beacon and a symbol. So it's the emergence of a character story as against a meditation on a character and following them. So it has a very different shape, and this is my interpretation, obviously, of the story. You might have a different one. Maybe you, again, like you said, like you attached yourself to the mother so much, so
Yeah.
so you might anchor yourself differently.
Yeah, you were amazing in it, and so
Thank
was
you,
Aditya.
Aditya,
Raman,
phenomenal.
Yeah. But you know, in both your outings, you've played the lead role, and I'd like to say it is because of lineage, but the reviews have been gung ho. Like they've all called you a new kind of actor.
Wow.
How does that make you feel?
I think it's again, first and foremost, honestly, the praise and the flattery and all of that is great, but I genuinely think it's all relative, it's all subjective, it's all contextual also. So I don't like to take too much credit for it. The way I look at it is that rather than me thinking that I'm responsible for it, it's a very special experience to observe all of these people express how satisfied they feel having watched Black Warrant and having enjoyed all the aspects of it. The fact that there's a character like this, the fact that the performance is as convincing as they think it is, the fact that there's a certain freshness and novelty. So many people have said, you know, I had gone off, kind of, I'd gotten fatigued and exhausted. I was not even interested in watching Indian series, and then this has come along and it's reinvigorated. So the sense of satisfaction after a long time, you know, that's relief almost.
Yeah.
So I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's so nice to be able to watch people feel satisfied in all of these
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And the knowledge that I was a catalyst, I was part of being a catalyst, because it is a whole spectrum. And honestly, the reason I wanted to do this, like, I enjoy the process of acting. I enjoy the sense of play. I enjoy the make believe. It's like being a child where you just say, look at me, I'm Superman. Look at me, I'm, you know, Hanuman. मैं ये करूँगा, वो करूँगा, मैं पर्वत उठा रहा हूँ. You just embody it. You know, it's not something that you have to. It's so that playful quality, and knowing that we're all अभी खेलने का वक्त है. Sorry, so I got derailed. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I was meandering, and we
Yeah.
started at Faraaz. 2019, the story began. I jumped in the deep end. I suffered through 2 lockdowns. We were supposed to start 2020, and then 2021, and every time it was April. And March, April was when they announced lockdown. So we suffered. My first movie, after a couple of years of anyway being kind of tentative and hesitant and not sure, and whose advice do you listen to, and all of that chaos, I suffer delay after delay. And then finally we shooted in 2021 during lockdown, as in a bubble setup, because
Yeah.
they relax certain
With
things.
all the testing and all
Yeah,
that.
all of that. We shoot it, we finish it. Then Faraaz gets embroiled in a court case.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So there were some people who
It's
created.
good luck these days.
Court case went on for a good part of the year. Producers had changed hands in between 2020 and 2021. So anyway, that was a whole shift. Then we shot the film. Then finally, then it got into a court case. Then the court case took a while. Then finally, court case got rectified. And then in 2022, we had a world premiere in London,
Oh, nice.
in BFI. And that was so special. Again, I would love to share is that it was 2013 when I was in London doing an extensive summer program for acting, and it was a theatre program, and I did a couple of more little courses for camera. But It was a foundational experience for me. It was also a place where I got to sidestep the expectation that comes with having the last name that I have in this country, especially in terms of the film industry. So I was able to avoid the baggage of it and just be Zahan. And I had to audition to get into that program, and I got selected out of thousands of people in England. And I was okay. I was an international student, but whatever. But there was still, it was a National Youth Theatres program, and they're very well reputed. I mean, Daniel Craig is an alumni of the National Youth Theatre. So is Helen Mirren. So is Idris Elba, and some younger chaps also. I think. Anyway, there's a lot. So people are aware. They know. I auditioned. I got in. I got selected. So there was a lot of confidence and kind of reinforcement that came from there, because I knew that it wasn't just sycophancy of people around you here, and they're like, "अरे बेटा तू तो हीरो बनेगा, बन जा, अरे उसमें क्या होता है?" So not that attitude. I wouldn't have felt okay about it. My first movie gets a premiere in London.
Yeah.
It took 10 years. I mean, in 10 years before that, I was a young person. I was like, yeah, I want to jump in. I want to get my, feet wet and learn as much as I can, give myself that confidence.
And the irony is, you're cousins with Ranbir, Karishma, Kareena, and
Yeah.
it still was a long wait. But it was worth it. Because you're a
I'm
new
gonna
kind
quote-
of Kapoor, new kind of actor.
That's what I say. Is that I'm trying to be as authentic as I can be.
Yeah.
And I know the word gets thrown around a lot, but I mean, okay, we won't have to be as heavy about it. I'm just trying to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so it's important to me for two things. One is to be honest, also to do what I can to make the most of any advantage that I have.
Yeah.
To not, conversely, not take it for granted.
Yeah.
So I am very nerdy in that sense. I like studying, I like reading, I like understanding. I'm very obsessive about it. So I don't ever think I could have been someone who would have been like, "Arey, acting to aata hi hoga, khoon mein hai." I don't think so. So I needed those 10 years maybe.
And there's a time. The time is right. Whenever the time is right.
I'm gonna quote
Yeah.
Hansal sir on this. I mean, not him directly, but Shahid.
Yeah.
In the movie, there's a line which is "वक्त लगता है, लेकिन हो जाता है."
Yeah.
And I think that's true. And if anything, I mean, it's my journey thus far has taught me the most important value is patience. Like you said, an actor's job is waiting.
Yeah.
To have the capacity to wait, that's a privilege.
I read in an interview of yours that you said you didn't know who Ranbir Kapoor was until Saawariya released.
It's true because
Really?
in the sense is that when I say that, I mean that we didn't have a relationship. He's 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
So
Which is a generation.
it's a generation, right? So when I'm going through school life, when you're kind of aware of your personhood between the age of 10 to 20, let's
Yeah.
say, Ranbir is 20 to 30, no?
Yeah.
And he's a young adult and he's making his way in that world, and
Yeah.
I'm a kid, so I'm
Yeah.
making my way in a very different world. So it's only much later, but I have to say again, like, it may have started off like that, very notionally, very distant, because it was the seniors who would, I mean, Chintu uncle, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
once in a while, even then less, Dabu uncle the most, I mean, Randir sir, I mean, he was at home the most because he was the closest to my Dadaji. And Chintu uncle also, but less so. Dad and Chintu uncle had a relationship. And then now is where there's a lot more common ground. And also now, over the last couple of years, is that I also get to be a professional contributor in the sense that, to share Faraaz with the family, to
Yeah.
share Black Warrant with the
Yeah.
family. I feel really good about it because I've seen their work and I'm like, hey, this is my work.
Yeah.
And we can all kind of share. So
Did you
I
get
like.
any tips?
I mean, that I ask Bebo about like career advice and things. I mean, I kind of lean on her a little bit more.
She's amazing.
I've picked Ranbir's brain much. I mean, earlier, not recently, but maybe let's say many years back when in the beginnings of us kind of rekindling our bond.
What did he tell you?
Oh, no, I just picked his brains about his experiences. What was it like? How did you do? What was Jagga Jasoos like? What was, Rockstar like? What all did you do? What is Imtiaz Sir like? What is that? What is that process? What's the relationship? All those kinds of questions. Because I was just fascinated. I want to know.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Anything he said that stayed with you? Because he's a terrific actor and he's done a great many.
So his approach and my, but it's very different. That's the thing. Ranbir and even Kareena for that matter, so instinctual. I think I'm a little bit more. I mean, a different approach. I guess I think I've done a more studied approach,
Yeah, fair enough.
and so I think we have slightly different. We've just had different. We've come at it from different places.
Do you wish you had a more commercial launch? Do you sometimes think?
No, I'm satisfied with where I am. Sometimes I wish there was an easier way to make those bridges. I just feel like people get siloed a lot. So I think that why there's this separation, I don't understand. I understand the product can have separation. I guess it's about efficiency. It's about predictability. And I've resisted that. I've resisted. I said, don't trap me in a box. I mean, I'll do this. This is what you want. No, I'll do it. You want that? I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's the maza. But if you
And
think
the
I can
most-
only do this, don't define it for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I want to explore.
Yeah.
You're very. Then you're giving me a very closed boundary, and
Yeah.
that's not what I want to do this for.
Yeah.
I want to be explorative. I want to be playful.
Well, then the next outing you had was with Shah Rukh Khan and Thumbs Up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing is more mass than Shah Rukh Khan,
Yeah,
and nothing
exactly.
is more mass than Thumbs Up.
Exactly.
Well, how did that come about?
So interestingly, we shot it in November, so it's last year. Now, almost a year ago. I shot it before Black Warrant released.
Ah.
The coolest thing, I think, personally, is that lots of people have shared screen time with Shah Rukh sir because, of course, Shah Rukh sir has done so many incredible films, and he's also done even more like voluminously speaking, like a number of ads and things, and people have had those opportunities. How many people have surfed with Shah Rukh Khan? You tell me. I have.
Okay, tell me a Shah Rukh story from the set.
So we're doing my stuff, and then we go to the other set, and then finally, and you keep hearing, okay, Shah Rukh sir is come, he's on set, and gaadi aa gayi. Okay, he's gone into the van. Okay, he's hair and makeup and all. So the little ADs, little copy. Okay. Wow. And then you get that one thing. Okay, SRK walking. And then I know, and I'm given one shot, and I'm on set, and I know I'm looking at the door, and you keep checking, because you're always like, is he here yet? Is he come? So it doesn't matter who you are, you just get that, and that's the power of him, And he comes, and then he comes his whole entourage, and he just walks through. I remember looking at, and you just kind of get struck. It's just something about it. Like I don't know what it is, but you just do. You just get struck. But he comes straight into set, and he comes in and he meets the director, and he's worked with the director several times now, so they have a vibe. Okay, cool. And he comes, and he's just no fuss, and he's got all his team, and they just do their thing, and he's such a pro. I mean, but he's so good. What I saw and what I loved was he quickly demystifies himself, and he just becomes another participant on the film set. He is at your service. He's at the director's service. The director wants, the client, the agency is asking, this, can we do? And he's like, sure. Once he's committed to you, he's not going to complain. He's going to do nakraj. I mean, he is pushing 60. Unbelievably fit. He's ripped as hell. He has gone in and jumped in the water, then in the same water set and all, and he's doing the stuff, and he's lying on the surfboard. He doesn't know how to surf, but and the directors asked me, said, give him some tips, and help him get the form right. So I'm asking him, sir, if you don't mind, if I can say just one or two things, and because the camera said, if you just keep your head up because your face is getting covered and all. So I'm very quietly, sweetly trying to tell him,
Give him tips. Give Shah Rukh Khan
I
tips.
know, and I'm just like, but he's very sweet, and he's like, bacha bol, kaisa hai beta? And he's like, tell me brother, and all this, and he's being so sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah. Zahan, you have Shashi Kapoor for a grandfather on one side, Ramesh Sippy for a grandfather on the other side, both, national icons. What is your relationship with fame? Like, what is growing up in a movie star family like for you?
I want to say genuinely, it is demystifying.
Explain.
Fame, when you see it from the inside, albeit I didn't see the peak of it. I'm only seeing. I mean, my grandfather first of all was retired, so I didn't see his real fame. I saw
He's
the
had the biggest Kabhi Kabhi.
no, but
Yeah.
not contemporary in my lifetime,
Yeah,
right?
fair enough.
So he was that was that was a thing of the past. So there's of course a great amount of reputation that still existed, but it was a thing of, it wasn't a working active member. He wasn't an active celebrity. But little bit, yes, you saw that people made a big deal if I went out with Dadaji as a kid, it was there. Nana, of course, is not as much of a celebrity in that sense publicly, but again, being a director and being an actor is a difference.
But Sholay
But
is
the
the greatest film of all time.
oh, undisputedly.
Yeah.
But it's the cousins. So I remember I was a kid when I went to Karishma's wedding, and again, like I mean, because we lived in another world. We didn't grow up. Like I said, that my parents were not part of the film industry, and my grandfather had retired. So in my household, we were not active in the industry. We were outside of it. But the rest of the family was. So when we would have those family gatherings and meetings, was the only time when I got to see it. And as fascinated as I was at that age, but as I grew up, you realize that it's not all that, and that's the attitude also that they carry, like Ranbir and Kareena and all. They don't. It's it's a responsibility they carry in terms of you're a public personality, but it's not what concerns them. They are not concerned by fame, and there are people who are. There's a lot of people who, for it's very important to have that impact and that significance in a public way, and it becomes the priority. And I can say with confidence that I don't think it's the priority for any one of us in the family. I think it is a byproduct. The priority is to be a part of this industry and to be a champion of it and things like that, and there's a love of the work. Chintu uncle used to say this thing, is that I'm a student of cinema. The passion, Rajji's passion, Prithviraj Kapoor's passion for theatre, for stories, for the people of this country, for the cultures,
Yeah.
for the backgrounds, for the diversity, and for the ability to share those ideas.
Yeah.
Those are the values that are enshrined in the family legacy.
Yeah.
Those are the attitudes that are actually inherited, hopefully.
I see that with Kareena too.
Yeah.
She's like always a working girl.
Working girl.
She's just and
She's
she works
tough.
hard.
She's tough as hell,
Yeah.
and she's no nonsense,
Yeah.
and she's not going to let you take her for granted.
No.
But she's a working girl.
Yeah, but she understands that she has to work every day to be where she is, and I love that about her.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that's the defining quality.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, I think, and it's okay. I get it, but yeah, there's a workman's workman's approach, blue collar approach.
I think so too. I see that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the show that you did, which you will be very embarrassed about, but it was called Coffee with Zahan. See, the thing with
How
South
do you
Bombay
know
is
this?
that it's a village. It's a little pinned and we all talk to each other. So please can you tell us about you stepping into Karan Johar's shoes and taking pot shots at all your classmates at the very snobby and still snobby Bombay International School?
Wow.
How mean were you?
Oh. I was.
We were looking for new things to discuss.
I love
on
it.
the
I love it.
show.
I am floored. I am absolutely floored.
Not quite your everyday podcast.
No, brilliant. So, okay, I think this was 8th standard, if I'm not wrong. I think so. I have a feeling. Or maybe 9th, 8th or 9th in BIS when I was in school. One of the most fun things that I was involved in, I think from 7th standard to 10th standard in school, was some of the fun that we used to do with the kind of speech and drama stuff.
Yeah.
Even though at the time I would have told you that there's no chance in hell that I want to be an actor.
Oh, really?
Strangely.
BIS.
Yeah, exactly. BIS also beat it out of me to
Yeah.
the point where I have sidebar stories that BIS, I was ridiculed because I had Hindi songs on my Walkman. I had CD and things like that, and Hindi songs, and because I was going to Jaipur and I was feeling damn cool and I was partying with the elders, and I was being a young kid on the block and very desi culture, yeah. Come back to South Bombay and they make fun of you.
Yeah.
So horrible. Anyway, and
Yes.
I mean, there's the one side of that which I really regret. That I wish, I say not regret personally, but I regret that it wasn't as empowering. It was in fact demeaning. So, but anyway,
Coffee with Zahan.
it's centered around. I think it was just one of those things. We were just having fun, and I used to love making. We used to do playfulness, right? We used to come up with skits, and we used to stage things, and we used to do it, and we got so it was part of something where the class, the student government had organized. I don't know what it was. It was something like that. And anyway, we did a spoof.
And you took
Coffee with
potshots at
Karan.
everyone.
Karan had just come out with Coffee with Karan, and I mean, it was very fresh and yes, and I was taking the piss completely, but more so I was and I played the host, which is the funniest thing, and nobody else knows this. This is really first. This is fresh. I, as a 13-year-old, have impersonated Karan Johar as a host. And I have called upon 3 guests that are my classmates. And I have roasted them. And as a sketch. And we've instigated this whole thing. And yeah, I mean, looking back though, I mean, it's hilarious because it's those things that maybe make me think of that. Maybe, I didn't really have much of an option. Maybe this was really where I was meant to be.
Written in the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't even bother graduating, did you?
No, 12th pass.
Why would you do that? I mean, I feel that a lot of people who don't graduate in India is when, they have to go out and make money, or for my generation, which is over a decade ahead of you, is they have to get married.
For me, it was a combination of 2 things. One is that I did not have parental pressure to be a graduate. My mum, although I went to university and kind of graduated from university in America, did nothing with her degree. Neither did any of her siblings, but they all had university educations. My father and his siblings, none of them have had university degrees. And my grandparents obviously were not big believers even then, and they said, if you want to go get a degree, you earn it, you figure it out, you do it yourself. I'm not guaranteeing it as a parent. So the same philosophy was passed down to me and my sister, saying that no, daddy's not paying for more
Are you
than.
a good student?
I was okay. I think 10th board I got about 80 something.
That's better than okay.
Yeah, and then I think 12th board I got around 76 or something like that.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. I was not like a topper, but I mean clever enough for school basics.
So what did you do between the time you finished grade 12?
I went to work. I started working before. So the first job I ever had was after I did my 10th boards. That summer I started working. And I worked at the time it was my dad's production house, but I worked with a different director. So I was under him and he had 2-3 different projects. And I was just learning, just there to observe and to learn, 15 years old. At 17 years old, I've done my 12th. And then I started working full time, and I went and worked with Good Morning Films, and I worked with Cutting Edge Pictures, and I worked a little bit freelance with my dad's company once in a while if he ever needed an assistant. So it was a way that I cut my teeth, and I was treated like any other person as part of the team, thankfully.
You also did some plays. You also did a play.
Much later. Much later. This is post school and stuff. Much later. It's 2019 when I did my play.
Okay, that's Pitaji.
Pitaji Please. Yeah.
I have an OTT question because Black Warrant was on the streamer. Does it bother you that because there's a lot of conversation in Bollywood that you don't really know the numbers, you don't really know the views, because none of the streamers sort of disclose the numbers. They'll tell you if you're trending in this country and top 10 all over
Yeah.
the world and all of that, compared to like theater, like which is an instant applause, like an instant standing ovation.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is Black Warrant. Speaking about Black Warrant, also more and more. I mean, it's so distant, right? I mean, we're we're in September right now. It's anyway been. I mean, we're in October right now. It's been 10 months anyway, um, since release.
Yeah.
But it was another 11 months before that we finished shooting. Coming back to theatre, the question you asked me about the skill and the differences, I think the honesty required for both is the same.
There's no take. There's no second take on
So
things.
you don't get a second chance, but you are required to be as truthful. I think I disagree that as an actor I am being different in one medium or the other. I have an awareness and I have a deep understanding for the technical requirements of this one and that one. It's like I know how to drive a car and I know how to ride a bike, and they have different mechanisms, and the gear is on my foot in a bike, but it's in my hand in a car. So, but once I learn how to do these things, I'm not thinking about them.
I don't know about that, and I'm sure you're right. But I'm thinking like if there's a mainstream actor, many
It's
mainstream,
about
I don't know if they
experience.
could.
But it's about
perform on
experience.
stage.
Have do they have the training? Do they have the experience?
That's
have
my
they?
point. Like if you
If
see
I don't know,
Broadway, like there's George Clooney performing. Keanu Reeves is doing Waiting for Godot.
you know how much. Okay, there's two things. Yeah, it's a beautiful example, and you're right. I love this conversation. Okay, um, first and foremost, there is much more drama school, theatre club training abroad than there is here. So most actors are more trained in general in the West. There's a little bit more. Here there is very little, especially in the film industry. There's
You
very
can't
little.
learn on the sets.
You learn on the
Yeah.
sets, and so you pick up tricks and tools like that, which
Yeah.
is a very different process. So your tool and Broadway is big. So now the Broadway is big. Broadway is big money also, because literally I mean the world descends onto New York or even London, the West
It's
End.
very touristy.
So it's
The
so
finances are different.
the finances are different.
But you still come
So
from the
now,
craft, right?
so no, now, and coming to point number 3, which is so interesting. The biggest stars in the world, like you said, George Clooney, Keanu Reeves, Jake Gyllenhaal,
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac, all these guys are performing on stage. All of them are realizing that their premium is actually more on stage, because they're losing that premium in the theatrical market. They're also phased out now. They're also losing their premium because the nature of how we experience audiovisual content or storytelling is different, and the premium around a physical live performance is coming back, and they're realizing it, and they're saying that's a bigger draw. And we have a long way to go economically speaking, but I cannot tell you how more confident it makes me feel.
You can just
And
call
how-
3 people in your family and tell them to do like a month on stage or a week on stage.
I could, I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
But no, the point I was trying to make was that to be an actor who has stage training and who participates in stage on stage regularly is probably the biggest advantage you can have today when you're being out competed by AI and down regulated by the algorithm. This is where you should and looking at the West, looking at the Hollywood stars, take a leaf out of that book and let's make. I mean, because life is live,
Life is live.
and people are gonna figure it out. So I love that, and I think it's really important for us to redefine our relationship with live performance in this country,
Especially theatre.
especially theatre.
There's music shows and all that.
I mean, giant rock shows, yes,
Yeah.
of course. Festivals, like music festivals, are
Yeah.
events. But the idea that you appreciate someone living, breathing, sitting in front of you, this immediacy. Like, for example, post the lockdown, right, is that you saw we crave, like restaurants are full, festivals are full. We need social interaction. Sitting alone and isolated and just satisfied digitally. And today now, even having friends is going to get mitigated because you have AI chatbots and companions because they're always available. But you're going to see a shift. You're going to see a value shift. You're going to be like, that is not fulfilling. And we need real relationships and we need real collective experiences. And one of those ways to experience something is a story in a collective setting.
It's so interesting to hear you say that. When you get bigger and busier as an actor, Mr. Kapoor, would you be making time for theatre?
I would definitely like to say yes. And it is my intention to make time for theatre. In fact, again, this is another part that I take inspiration from, like you said, from Broadway and from the West End, where they're big mainstream actors,
Yeah.
and they're performing. They make time. They take 3 months out, 4 months out. They do a season. They do a run. It was not too long ago in July that we were in England. I missed it, unfortunately. I had to rush back, but Dad stayed on. He went and saw a play in the West End called Inter Alia. It was produced by the National Theatre, starring Rosamund Pike, and he was beaming about it. He's saying it's one of the best productions he's seen in years. And Nasir Saab here, Makaran Deshpande here, Jim Sarb is one of the younger actors who's coming and doing stage regularly. Shweta Tripathi, Shriya Pilgaonkar, Aditya, of course.
You're working with him in Siachen again, Aditya Rawal.
Siachen, so okay, Siachen is another story. Aditya and I got together during lockdown while we were waiting for Faraaz.
Yeah.
And we were bored, and he was a neighbor, so he was literally a couple of doors down. So it was possible for him to kind of hop over, and we could sneak a couple of hours together.
Yeah.
And to pass the time in a more beneficial way, we said, listen, let's just pull up plays and start, let's read. Let's sit down and let's just read back and forth, and let's just explore. And it was in that process, we had read like 4 or 5 different things. And both of us also bonded, of course. This is pre-shooting began, but we bonded because we had very similar backgrounds. We had a lot of common ground. Again, that blue collar approach kind of ran through our families. Even his father was like, listen, get to work. There's no point getting all caught up in all of that nonsense. You do your job, you do it well, and then you let the chips fall where they fall. Aditya also had a sports background. He's dedicated to football first, like me being dedicated to polo and horses first before film and story. But then realizing that the sport world had a little bit of a ceiling and had a much shorter career span, and then realizing that a career in the arts is actually limitless, and you can kind of really keep remolding yourself.
I see.
And then we bonded, and then Aditya brought this up. He said, this is a piece of writing that because Aditya had gone to film school in New York.
Rawal's son, so of course.
I mean, that was so because being Pareshji's son, he got that double exposure of what it means to be a working actor in the film industry and still making time for theatre. So his father has done so much theatre and more Gujarati theatre then, but commercial Gujarati theatre. In the early days, he did a lot of incredible avant-garde theatre. But basically, by the end, he had done so much. So Aditya's exposure was similar to mine in that sense, and similar values. Aditya went and studied in New York. He studied writing.
Oh,
He didn't study acting. He studied writing. One of the things that he wrote as part of his course, his program, was a play called Siachen, and it was based on. He was fascinated by this world, and he did research, and he went to base camp, and he talked to people, and he did this, and he wrote this play, and we read it, and I was like, this is great. We should do this because this is original. Why should I borrow some other Western writer and try and create an adaptation? I'm saying this is a story that's in our backyard. It's
Here
compelling.
and now.
It's tight, and we spent the next year or 2 years actually working on it, further developing it. We got in another co-writer to help us translate it into Hindi because I wanted it to be done
It's
in
in Hindi?
Yeah, it's a Hindi play.
Oh.
And we did that, and I got Makaran Deshpande sir, Max sir, to come in and say, listen, you guide us. But it was the first venture we had in terms of presenting our voice and I also got to bring in resources from other places. Like I wanted to create a visual look, so the set design, and my sister's works
Shaira.
in production design. So I got her in. I said, okay, listen, come on, you. She'd never done a play before, but I said, I've done so much stuff for Prithvi, and she's done stuff, and so we're gonna put our heads together, and we're gonna come up with a really cheap and cheerful, but really magical also and playful way to kind of create this set. We found a music composer through a friend, mutual friend, and met him. And he said, "Yeah, I'm down. I want to compose and score for something like this. It sounds exciting." So great. Ajay Jayanti, who turns out became the music composer for Black Warrant. Incredible, like kind of serendipity. So Ajay's all the music on Black Warrant is Ajay.
Yeah.
But we met Ajay before Black Warrant even started because we were working on Siachen. I went and spoke to Mandar sir, who's Mandar Kulkarni, who is the sound guy for Hansal for decades.
Yeah.
And we went to his studio, and he records live sound and also then does the sound mixing and stuff for the movies. And we created a play that was ours, was really fresh and original, and it had all of these resources funneled into it. And we got to share it with the world, and it's been 2 years now, still running. I performed a week ago at the NCPA, and we had an incredible 2 shows. In fact, it was the most fun I've ever had on stage, because more recently that we were doing rehearsals and we were kind of deep diving and doing things. And I mean, it's
Come
a
and watch the next.
please. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving, and that's what theatre has given me so
Yeah.
much. Is this thing of practice, this thing of riyaz, this thing of going back to the same material and
Yeah.
still searching, polishing,
Yeah.
searching, finding.
Yeah.
Superb.
1 year from Black Warrant, how are you handling the female and the male attention that you've been getting? Witness rescued you once.
It's like I said, it's in the beginning, I think fresh off the bat, I think Jan, Feb, March, it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
To the point where I was being stopped and being recognized and stopped, like, I mean, at the airport, it happened to me
Yeah.
several times. That has reduced now because it's been a while. So most
Yeah.
people, so that sense of, and you're so bombarded with faces and
Yeah.
information all the time,
Yeah.
so that freshness and that impact has reduced. So every once in a while it might happen, but it's mellowed. So I'm very happy. I've gone back to, I'm very easy. I take auto rickshaws everywhere. I walk
Always like
around the
that,
store.
na? They leave
Exactly.
you alone.
So exactly. So I
Yeah.
love that. So I'm saying is I like that right now. Up
Yeah.
until that time comes where it becomes really overwhelming and difficult, which I hope it does, because that means that I've worked hard enough, and my work is also being that much more valued.
Yeah.
But up until that time comes, I'm very happy doing this, and I'm very happy having friends who can rescue me when it gets too much. So I think a year from now, a year from Black Warrant, what I'm saying, I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling like,
Are you dating?
no, not right now. Um, I think it's a different time right now. I'm just enjoying where I'm at.
Yeah.
I am. I agree with you, and I agree with everyone's expectation of it. It has been a shift. It has been a new chapter. There's no question about it. To be this validated in terms of your work.
What do your parents tell you? Because both of them are from Bollywood, but they're not actors, as we were saying, and both are still creative professionals. Your mom is an amazing photographer. Your dad, of course, has his ad agency. What do they tell you? What do they feel?
In regards to what exactly?
This whole year, like you're acting and
Oh.
being like an actor's
I
parent.
think,
And
well-
I'm sure being very proud of.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
how
I
you've
think they're just
landed.
proud. I think they're just proud. I think they also get to be on the receiving end of people coming up to them and gushing and sharing.
Yes, and start calling me back.
No, that is one side. but most of them, the other day also it happened. Literally yesterday, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Day before yesterday, I was at Prithvi with Dad, and Kumud sir was there, and he's producing a new play for the festival this year, and he was telling Dad, and was being very, very, very flattering and all praise of me and my work. And And I see dad, or dad gets awkward, and mom to fully loves it.
Yeah,
Dad
yeah.
gets a bit awkward, but he smiles. But it really, obviously, again, for people, it's a very special thing, and I don't want to devalue it. And I know it's very rare. I know how many people never get to experience that, where your parents are on the receiving end of other people coming and giving you their love and saying, "Kya,
Yeah.
so fun, and
Yeah.
I mean, so good and so good." And, so I guess I think they're just happy to be on the receiving end of it.
It's a shift for them too,
I,
right?
I think, yeah, but it also very quickly disappears also, no?
Yeah.
Because it gets compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Because that's notional. Then you're back to, hey, tu mera beta hai, hello, chup chap kar.
Tell me actors, directors you look up to and maybe want to work with.
So many. Barring the family, um, again, I hate picking out because you end up, other people feel left out and things, but
Give me 3 names only.
I don't want to choose because I'll tell
Directors.
you why. I'll tell you why because I'll tell you what. Contextually, I would love. It's very interesting. Like so, in my let's say in my direct kind of sphere, like I love Adarsh. I love how he Adarsh Gaurav and his roles and what he does, and I think he's so good and in terms of his craft. I would love to work with him. I love Sparsh also in the sense I think what Sparsh did in Lapata Ladies was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, Aditya is one of my favorite people in the world today, and I would love to act with him again. And we're just now thick as thieves, and we're collaborators. But there are senior actors. I mean, Nasir Saab. I would love the opportunity to act with him. He's been such an inspiration for me. Um, I would love to act with members of my family, of course, but again, barring them, all the three Khans, the top Khans.
Shah Rukh is
I mean,
Yeah.
I've checked, but
Yeah.
but more dramatically so maybe. I'm a big fan of Amir sir in terms of, and I was so lucky recently I was able to kind of have some time and interact with him, and I love his approach to trying to be a champion of the story first, and I really admire him, really do. Um, and I'm just a fan. I'm a fan of Shah Rukh sir. I'm a fan of Salman sir. I mean, I've seen Bajrangi Bhaijaan
Yeah.
in Chandan. I've seen Sultan in Chandan. I've seen what else? Kick in Chandan. I mean, there's a whole. I mean, so many films. Dabang. All these films I've gone first day first show and seen in Chandan cinema and enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I'm such a fan. I would love to work with Sanjay Bansari sir. I would love to work with Zoya. I would love to work with Raju Irani sir. I would love to work with Kabir Khan sir. I would love to work with. I mean, these are the big commercial kind of directors. Even I mean, more hard-hittingly different directors. I mean, there are so many. Priyadarshan sir. I mean, he's making a movie with Saif right now. I was asking Saif recently.
They haven't started, I think.
They've started shoot.
Oh.
I think they've started early phase, whatever. But I was asking him, what's it like, and he's like, amazing. He's a legend, yeah. He's a legend. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah. Do you watch your shows and your film on TV?
No.
I'm so surprised because everyone says no.
Yeah.
Why?
I've watched it. I'll tell you, like I've seen the rough cuts and things if I can be involved and to give feedback or to give my opinion, to be a part of the process at that point, yeah. The first thing also is that in the beginning you're just so self-conscious and I don't even look at the monitor because I don't want to get into that personal critic mode where then I'm judging myself and then you start to kind of jam up and you're not as free. So I don't want that. I don't want that
You just want to
interference.
be in the moment.
So that's one. But looking back, so I think but you get better at it. I think with experience, you learn how to not judge yourself harshly. You learn how to detach. You learn how to you learn how to be neutral. In the beginning, it's very hard. I don't think it's as satisfying because I've been through the journey, So for me, the end product is not the point.
So, I've been following you on Insta and I've been, of course, seeing how stylish you are, especially, with this gorgeous home in London and this very noir style
It's my grand aunt's home.
wardrobe that you have in London with like a beret, Leather jacket.
That's not a beret. That's a Peaky. What's it called?
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinder.
Yeah,
One of those old kind of classic Brit Peakies.
You know
I
what
only just bought it. It was in July. This was
Leather
just,
brogues.
Leather brogues.
Who is that, Zahan?
It's me. I mean, come on. I like. I'm.
You're a fashion boy.
I think I've always been.
Yeah.
I think I've always been. In fact, it was 10th standard graduation yearbook kind of thing where that was the comment from the junior classes that always kind of stylish, but in that not in that over way like I'm like doing it for to call attention, but in that I think again you know mum is incredibly elegant and graceful and stylish and yet cheap and cheerful, and my father also kind of father a little bit more. He loves the best of the best, so he would love his boots. So I inherited like his love for R.M. Williams boots, which are lovely Chelsea boots, and he just buys R.M. Williams, and he loves and he should love his 501s, and he should love his like good classic stuff. He used to wear Lacoste polos, and so he was a big believer in like kind of premium luxury stuff because he likes value. Mum loves all of that. I mean, but then she would also make do with kind of cheap and cheerful finds.
She's a little more bohemian.
She's a little bit more bohemian.
Yeah.
Surprised, but in spirit, my father is much more bohemian.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, in the sense is that he is the boho, as in he is the reason why me and my sister also, as in they've grown up on beaches, we've grown up on beaches in lungis and nothing, bare chested and just so we inhabit a very boho energy lifestyle. It's very relaxed, laissez-faire, bohemian in that sense, very simplistic. But there is an appreciation for the finer things. There is a sense of value of it also. So don't disregard it. And there's a very, very categorical thing about not being entitled. I mean, my Dadaji also was simply elegant. Kurta pajama, then became his uniform. Now my father wears Pathani suits. It's become his uniform.
Yeah. If you were ordering on e-commerce, tell me something you would want to order and get it delivered in 60 minutes.
I do. I those 15-minute apps. I'm addicted. I get all my not groceries. Actually, I don't get.
But fashion. Like, tell me a fashion.
Oh, fashion?
Yeah. Something you'd order, and you'd want it in like 60 minutes.
Honestly, it would just be basics because that would be what I would go for if it was that pressing. Because you can't go a good white T-shirt, a good pair of jeans. Jeans are hard. I don't know if you can get that instantly. But a good white T-shirt, a good tank, a pair of socks, emergency chaddis.
Why would you need emergency chaddis?
Hey, you never know. You may get wet. You may have to suddenly jump in a pool and save someone. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Save Shah Rukh.
I'm very in control of my processes. So it's not an accident that I'm anticipating. It's rather a life and death scenario which would require me to put myself in the line of fire or water. Yeah. So then in that case, spare pair of chaddis.
Yes. Do you cook?
I do. I'm extremely passionate about cooking.
What a surprise.
I cook everything. I have been, again, I was very, very fortunate to be, I started to learn and get excited. Again, it was one of those things. I was just curious. ये कैसा होता है? क्या होता है? कौन कर रहा है? And I had influences that were of a very high level, one of whom is Rahul Akerkar, who
Rahul's best friend.
So Rahul's wife Malini and my mum were very close, but Rahul and dad were in school together.
Oh.
They were BIS boys.
And you couldn't have picked a better hero.
And culinary hero. And Shaira, my sister, and Shan, their elder daughter, were also in the same class together. So there was common overlap. They lost touch, but then kind of got in touch because of us when we were in school together. And then then the relationship kind of blossomed again. And then I got to, we spent so much time together, family, friends wise, that I watched him in the kitchen. And he taught, the first thing I learned how to make, he taught me how to make a pancake, a crepe style, like a really thin pancake.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I learned how to make, I think, was pasta. Yeah. I think a simple tomato sauce. Yeah. And from there, I've not looked back, and I'm extremely passionate about cooking. I love cooking. I explore recipes. Again, I like to understand deeply. One of the best books I think is Acid, Fat, Salt, Heat by Michael Pollan. It's a great book. It just breaks down all food into these 4 categories. in principle, if you have acid, if you have salt, if you have fat, and if you have heat, you will create a dish that will be satisfying. And if you understand that, you can cook.
Fantastic.
And I love cooking. I really do. And we as Kapoors, though we love eating.
Where do you see your career in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years?
I would love for it to have grown exponentially. I would love to have been able to boast of many more enriching, invigorating projects and experiences. I would love to say that I've done some fantastic movies, in terms of not all, I mean, there could be different measurements. Like, I mean, I would love to have a spectrum. I would love to be a part of some big commercial spot boilers and satisfiers. I would also love to be able to empower and champion some indie stories that may not have been, been supported otherwise. I would love to have done a lot more theatre, and I would have loved to also maybe crossed over into other markets.
How
Uh,
lovely.
so irrespective of whether they're even within this country or abroad, like I feel like it would be so interesting to put myself in that kind of an ecosystem and environment, and still fundamentally be connected by the glue that is what gives meaning to all of this, which is the human condition, the human experience, and how universal that is. And then the nuance and the layers, like a many, or rather like a tapestry of culture and history, and those nuances that get layered and baked in on top, or stitched in over it. But at the core, it's that human condition. It's that universality that we all recognize. So that bridging is what I love.
Spoken like a true artist.
Wow.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me hound you. And
Thank you.
for
Thank you
being
for having me.
here.
I'm very, very sorry that I've made it more difficult.
2 apologies.
Yeah. More difficult than it needed to be.
This was great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kushi 7 presents the Namrata Zakaria Show in partnership with Zilo, fashion delivery in 60 minutes, powered by View Televisions.
If you like what we do, please press the bell icon below and subscribe to our channel. It will really help my team and me to do better and work harder and bring to you even better conversations.